Hello everyone, welcome to medical microbiology. We will do exercise for exam number 3, chapters 11, 12, and 13. For the best results of this exercise, these are several things that you have to do. First, study chapters 11, 12, and 13 before taking this exercise. Second, prepare some pieces of paper and pen or pencil to write your answer. Third, there will be 2 or 3 seconds after each question to write your answer on paper before the answer key is given and explained. Note, you can always pause the video if you need more time. Fourth, after finish the exercise, check your answers. How many are correct and how many are incorrect. Fifth, repeat the process until you get 100% correct answer. Sixth, make sure that the 100% correct answers are based on your knowledge, not from guessing. 7. It is very likely that you will get a very good score on your exam 3 if you follow this instruction correctly. Okay, so we will start with the first question. Question number 1. The use of physical and chemical process or agents to control microbes on animate object is called A. Sterilization, B. Disinfection, C. Antisepsis, D. Sanitation, or E. Degermation. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is C. Antisepsis. So antiseptic is chemical use on animate object, living object, like our skin, for example. Example of antiseptic is antiseptic soaps. Number 2. The use of physical and chemical process or agent to control microbes on inanimate object is called A. Sterilization, B. Disinfection, C. Antisepsis, D. Sanitation, or E. Degermation. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is B. Disinfection. So disinfectants is a chemical that used on inanimate object, non-living object, like the toilet, floor, or the kitchen table. Example of disinfectant is Lysol. Number 3. The complete removal or destruction of viable microorganisms on inanimate object is called A. Sterilization, B. Disinfection, C. Antisepsis, D. Sanitation, or E. Degermation. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is A. Sterilization. Sterilization is the complete removal or destruction of all viable microorganisms, including endospores. Endospore is the most difficult form of microorganism to be controlled. Examples of sterilizations are autoclave, incineration, ethylene oxide, ionizing sterilization. Number 4, ethylene oxide is A. Sterilizations or sporicidal, B. Disinfection, C. Antisepsis, D. Sanitation, or E. Degermation. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is sterilizations or sporicidal. So this ethylene oxide is a type of gas that can be used for sterilization, for removing or destroying all viable type of microorganisms, including the endospores. Number 5, the minimum temperature, pressure, and time for steam autoclave is A. 100 centigrade, 15 pressures and 15 minutes, B. 121 centigrade, 15 pressure and 15 minutes, C. 125 centigrade, 15 pressure and 10 minutes, D. 134 centigrade, 15 pressure and 5 minutes, or E. 135 centigrade, 15 pressure and 5 minutes. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is B. The minimum temperature for autoclave is 121 centigrade. The set or the minimum pressure is 15 and the minimum time is 15 minutes. So for the best result for this autoclave, then we have to use minimum of 121 centigrade temperature, 15 pressure in minimum 15 minutes. If we compare this autoclave, which is moist heat, with dry heat like incineration, then dry heat requires higher temperatures and more times. Example, if we use incineration at the same temperature, 121 centigrade, then it requires 600 minutes or about 10 hours. Okay, so moist heat like autoclave is better or more effective compared to dry heat. Number 6, which of the following is not phenolics? A. Bisphenol, B. Cresol, C. Chloramine, D. hexachlorophene, or E. Creolin. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is chloramine. So chloramine is chlorine, which is halogens. So it is not phenolics. Another type of halogen is iodine. Okay, so chloramine is not phenolics. Number 7, radiation of food can cause the following except A. Kills bacterial pathogens on food, B. Kills insect on food, C. Reduces the number of foodborne illness or death, D. Reduces food nutrition, or E. Inhibits sprouting on some vegetable. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is reduces food nutrition. So radiation will not reduce the food nutrition. It will not reduce or change the nutrient contents in the food. It will kill bacteria, it will kill insect, it will reduce the number of foodborne illness, and also it will inhibit sprouting, but it will not reduce the nutrition. 8. The most difficult form of microbes to be destroyed is the A. Vegetative form, B. Endospore, C. Virus, D. Yeast, or E. Protozoan cyst. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is B. Endospores. Again, endospore is the most difficult form of bacteria to be controlled. Other example is prions. Number 9. The intermediate resistant form of microbes to be destroyed or controlled is the A. Vegetative form, B. Endospore, C. Virus, D. Yeast, or E. Protozoan cyst. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer will be protozoan cyst. Okay, endospore is the most difficult one. Under that, there will be several forms like protozoan cyst, Staphylococcus bacteria, Pseudomonas bacteria, and Mycobacterium bacteria. So they are intermediate resistant form. Number 10. The easiest form of microbe to be destroyed is the A. Vegetative form, B. Endospore, C. Staphylococcus, D. Prions, or E. Protozoan cyst. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer should be A. Vegetative form of bacteria. So they are easy to be controlled or destroyed. Endospores is the most difficult one. Prions also the most difficult one. Staphylococcus and protozoan cyst, they are intermediate resistance. Number 11. True or false? The rate of microbial death is when the cells in the culture die at a constant rate. True or false? Choose your answer. Yes, it is true. So this is the definition of rate of microbial death. Number 12. The iodophores consist of iodine and a neutral polymer to increase its penetration and less irritation to the tissue. True or false? Give your answer. Yes, it is true. So iodophores actually consists of iodine and additional molecules to increase the penetration and also to make it become less irritated to the tissue. So example of iodophores that commonly used is betadine to treat the skin injury. Number 13. UV light is a sterilant that causing the electrons to be ejected from the cells of microbes exposed to it. True or false? Give your answer. Yes, the answer should be false, because UV light is not sterilant. UV light is disinfectant. Okay, the one that sterilant is gamma rays or X-rays or cathode rays. So the one that end with rays, they are sterilants. Okay, the one that causing the electron to be ejected from the cell of microbes that exposed to them. Number 14. Moist heat autoclave is used for disinfection of beverages and food such as milk, apple juice, and wine. True or false? Give your answer. Yes, it should be false. Remember, autoclave is sterilization, not disinfection. Okay, so autoclave is sterilization, not disinfection. Okay, for disinfections of beverages and food, such as milk and apple juice, usually we use what we call the pasteurization. So pasteurization is for disinfection of food and beverages. Number 15. The tincture of iodine contains heavy metals. True or false? Choose your answer. Okay, the answer should be false. So the tincture of iodine does not contain heavy metals. The one that contains heavy metal is mercurochrome. Okay. Number 16, ethylene oxide is an example of gas sterilant. True or false? Choose your answer. Yes, it is true. So ethylene oxide, again, it is a sterilant, and it is actually gas that require chamber to be used. So the food or any equipment will be put into the chamber, and then ethylene oxide will be given to that chamber to sterilize that object or equipment. Usually used for the equipment that is cannot be sterilized with incineration or autoclave. True or false? Number 17. Hydrogen peroxide is a chemical agent that produces highly reactive hydroxyl-free radical and oxygen gas. True or false? Yes, the answer is true. So hydrogen peroxide is a highly reactive agent. It will also produce gas. Number 18. HEPA or HEPA filters are used to remove microbes from water. True or false? Choose your answer. It is incorrect, so it is false. So HEPA is actually mean high efficiency particulate air. So it is actually for air filtration, not water filtration. So if you have vacuum cleaner, for example, usually they also have the HEPA filter on it. It is for air filtration. Number 19. Silver and gold have antimicrobial properties to control microbes. True or false? Choose your answer. Yes, it is true. Okay, so silver and gold have the ability to destroy or control microorganisms. Examples, silver sulfadiazine, which is topical or antibiotics, antiseptic. Number 20, chloramine is being used to replace hypochlorite or chlorine in water treatment plant due to possible cancer-causing byproduct production of using chlorine. It is true or false? Choose your answer. It is true. Okay, so water treatment plant in bigger cities, usually they change from chlorine into chloramine. Okay, so they use chloramine to disinfect the water. Okay? So the reason is because chlorine or hypochlorite They produce byproducts such as 3-halomethanes, THMs, and haloacetic acid, or HAA. And these two byproducts are considered as carcinogenic in long-term accumulation. So like, for example, water treatment in Lexington, they actually use chloramine instead of chlorine or hypochlorite. Number 21, scrubbing or immersing the skin in chemicals to reduce the numbers of microbes on the skin is called. So this is fill in the blank. So write your answer. Yes, it is called degermation. Okay, it is usually done by surgeons before performing surgery. The common chemical used for this degermation is chlorhexidine. Number 22, fill in the blank. The process that destroy or remove all microorganisms and microbial form, including bacterial endospore, is called. Write your answer. Yes, this is sterilization. Okay, so this is sterilization. Examples are autoclaving, incineration, gamma rays, X-ray, and ethylene oxide gas. Okay, fill in the blank. Number 23. Penicillin, streptomycin, and amoxicillin are examples of drug used to treat blank infection. Write your answer. Yes, they are used for bacterial infection. So they are antibiotics used only for bacterial infection. Fill in the blank. Number 24. Niclosamide, ivermectin, and mebendazole are examples of drugs used to treat blank infection. Write your answer. Yes, it is for helminthics or worm infection. Okay, these are the type of drugs used for treatment of helminthic or worm infection. Okay, fill in the blank. Number 25. Tamiflu, acyclovir, and AZT are examples of drugs used to treat blank infections. Write your answer. Okay, it should be easy. Tamiflu is for flu, which is virus. Acyclovir is for herpes, which is virus. So they are used for viral infection. AZT is used for HIV infection. Fill in the blank. Number 26. Antimicrobial that only treat a certain type of microbe, for example, only treat gram-positive bacteria, is called. Write your answer. Yeah, because it is very narrow. It's only special or certain type of infection. Then it is called a narrow spectrum drugs. Example is penicillin. Penicillin G is only used for gram-positive bacterial infection, like Staphylococcus or Streptococcus. Number 27, fill in the blank. Antimicrobial that treat many type of microbes, for example, treat gram-positive and also gram-negative bacteria, is called. Write your answer. Yes, it should be broad spectrum drugs. Okay, they can be used for different type of infection, gram-positive and also gram-negative bacteria infection. Example is amoxicillin. It is a type of broad spectrum antibiotics. Fill in the blank number 28. The most versatile and useful antifungal drugs that is used to treat serious systemic fungal infection is, write your answer. Okay, the answer is amphotericin B. So this drug is used for fungal infection, especially for systemic type of infection. Okay, number 29, fill in the blank. The organ responsible for metabolizing and detoxifying foreign chemicals, including the drugs, in the blood and circulation is the, write your answer. Yes, so our organ that is responsible for detoxifications of drugs or foreign chemical is liver. Okay, so this is the organ that is responsible to detoxify foreign chemicals. Fill in the blank number 30. A disease that has a steady frequency over times in a population is called, write your answer, is called endemic. So this is steady frequency over time spread on the area wider, and it might be usually on the area with the same condition. So this is called the endemic. Okay, number 31. It is multiple choices. Which of the following chemical contains chlorine and 2 phenolic rings and used as degermation before performing surgery? A. Ethyl alcohol, B. Carbolic acid, C. Chlorhexidine, D. Formalin, E. Triclosan. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is chlorhexidine. Again, chlorhexidine is the most common type of chemical used for degermation. It contains chlorine and 2 phenolic rings. Number 32. In general, there are more antibacterial drugs compared to antifungal, antiprotozoal, and antihelminth drug because they, choose A, do not cause infection, B, a parasite found only inside human cell, C, have fewer target site compared to bacteria, or D, are so similar with human cell that selective drugs are difficult to achieve. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is fungi, protozoa, and helminth. They are very similar with human cell because they are eukaryotic cell. Therefore, it is more difficult to develop the drugs against this infection because the drugs will also have toxicity to the human cell because of this similarity. Bacteria, they are different. They are prokaryotics. Therefore, making antibacterial drugs usually easier compared to making the antifungal, antiprotozoal, and antihelminthic drugs because this drug might cause toxicity to human cell, so they are not selectively toxic. Number 33. The drugs used for protozoal infection is A. Streptomycin, B. Penicillin, C. Metronidazole, D. Griseofulvin, and or E. Acyclovir. Choose your answer. Yeah, the answer should be C. Metronidazole. Remember, streptomycin and penicillin used for bacteria, so it is not for protozoa. Griseofulvin is for fungi. Acyclovir, this is vir is mean for virus. So the correct answer will be metronidazole. Number 34. The antibiotics are produced by the following microorganism except A. Penicillium, B. Bacillus, C. Streptomyces, D. Staphylococcus, E. Cephalosporium. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is D. Staphylococcus. Staphylococcus is pathogenic bacteria that do not produce antibiotics. Penicillium is fungi that produce penicillin. Okay. Bacillus, this is bacteria that produce bacitracin, which is antibiotics. Streptomyces produce streptomycin. Cephalosporium, this is another fungi, they produce cephalosporin. Okay, so only Staphylococcus over here that do not produce antibiotics. Number 35. The drug used against intestinal anaerobic bacteria that can also cause superinfection is A. Clindamycin, B. chloramphenicol, C. ciprofloxacin, D. bacitracin, or E. penicillin. Choose your answer. The answer is clindamycin. So this is the drug that used for treatment anaerobic bacteria in the intestine. But this clindamycin is not only kill the pathogenic bacteria, they also kill the normal flora, the flora that benefit us. So because of that, then there will be a disease called the superinfection. Okay, because the natural flora are killed, then other pathogenic flora will be thriving and causing infection. And the type of infection that caused by this action is called superinfection. Number 36. When a serial dilutions of drug is used for testing its effectiveness against microbes to find the A. TI, therapeutic index, B. MIC, minimum inhibitory concentration, C. zone of inhibition, D. zone of growth, or E. zone of colonization. Choose your answer. Okay, the answer is MIC. So to find the MIC, minimum inhibitory concentration, usually we diluting the drugs and then give this into the bacterial growth, and then we see which one is actually kill the bacteria. And MIC can be used also for calculation of TI later. So this is the process again. So we have serial dilutions of drugs, okay, or antibiotics, for example. So for example, on the right one, it is only one dose, right? 1 microgram per milliliter. And then usually we increase it by doubling the dose. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. Okay. And then if you see 1 micrograms dose of drugs does not kill the bacteria. 2 also does not kill bacteria. And 4 dose also does not kill bacteria. And if you see 8, it starts to kill bacteria. There is no growth over there. And then 16 microgram per milliliter, of course, it will also kill bacteria. And 32, of course, because this is higher concentration, will also kill bacteria. So based on this information, based on this result, then the MIC will be 8 microgram per milliliter. So that's the MIC. Sometimes, we can also perform next experiment by putting these solutions on petri dish and make them grow. And if you see that in the 8 microgram per milliliter, you see some growth of bacteria on the petri dish, while 16 it does not have the bacterial growth. Okay, so therefore, even though 8 microgram per liter is MIC, kill bacteria, but it's not really kill all of them. Some stronger bacteria is still there. So in order to make a better drugs, then usually the pharmaceutical company will use the 16 microgram per liter, okay, not the 8 microgram per milliliter. Okay. Okay, number 37. Which drug is used to treat MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus? A. Penicillin, B. Methicillin, C. Griseofulvin, D. Acyclovir, or E. Vancomycin. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer should be vancomycin. Remember, penicillin, methicillin, they are actually the same type of antibiotics, and they are not effective against Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, MRSA, Staphylococcus aureus. Griseofulvin is for fungi. Acyclovir, it is for virus. So the best answer will be vancomycin. Number 38. Which drug is used to treat gram-negative bacteria? A. Penicillin, B. Methicillin, C. Aminoglycoside, D. Acyclovir, or E. Vancomycin. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer should be aminoglycoside. Remember, penicillin, methicillin, vancomycin, they usually use for gram-positive bacteria. Acyclovir is for virus. So the best answer is aminoglycoside. Number 39. Which drug has peptidoglycan or bacterial cell wall as its target? A. Penicillin, B. Griseofulvin, C. Aminoglycoside, D. Acyclovir, or E. Tamiflu. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer will be penicillin. So penicillin group, like penicillin and cephalosporins, vancomycin, they are a group of antibiotics that destroy the bacterial cell wall. Okay, mostly used for gram-positive bacteria. Number 40. Which of the following mechanism of drug resistance acquired by removal of drug from the cell? A. Drug inactivation, B. Decreased permeability, C. Activation of drugs pumps, D. Change in drugs binding site, or E. Use alternate metabolic pathway. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer should be activation of drug pumps. Remember, this is removal of drug from inside the bacterial cell. So bacterial cell will have the ability to pump the drug out, and this action is called activation of drug pumps. Number 41. The ability of Staphylococcus aureus to produce penicillinase to block penicillin is an example of which mechanism of drug resistance? A. Drug inactivation, B. Decreased permeability, C. Activation of drug pumps, D. Change in drugs binding site, or E. Use alternate metabolic pathway. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer should be drug inactivation. Okay, because this Staphylococcus aureus able to produce enzyme is called penicillinase, and this penicillinase actually will destroy the penicillin. So therefore, penicillin will not be effective against Staphylococcus aureus because of this ability. Okay, so remember, this is chapter 12. The mechanism of drug resistance, there are 5 of them. Okay, drug inactivation, decreased permeability, activation of drug pumps, change in drug binding site, and use of alternate metabolic pathway. So make sure you study this chapter 12. Number 42. The similarity of ampicillin, amoxicillin, and penicillin G is A. They have beta-lactam ring to destroy bacterial cell wall. B. They have surfactant to destroy the bacterial cell membrane. C. They have tetra rings to block protein synthesis. D. They have sulfury to block metabolic pathway. Or E. They have macrolide to destroy fungi. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer should be they have beta-lactam ring to destroy bacterial cell wall. So remember, these are groups of antibiotics that destroy the cell wall, and all of them actually have similar structure, which is the center or their nucleus is called the beta-lactam ring. Number 43. Which of the following drug has its target on 30S, which is the smaller subunit of ribosome of the bacterial cell? A. Aminoglycoside. B. Penicillin. C. Polymyxin. D. Sulfonamide. Or E. Chloroquine. Choose your answer. Yeah, the answer is aminoglycoside. Okay, so aminoglycoside is one type of drugs or medicine that actually bind to the smaller subunit of ribosome. So it will block the protein synthesis. Remember, penicillin is not for ribosome. The target is not ribosome. The target is the cell wall. Polymyxin, the target is cell membrane, not the ribosome. Sulfonamide, the target is actually the DNA synthesis. Okay, and chloroquine, this is the target is sulfonamide is the target is the blocking the metabolic pathway. And chloroquine, the target is DNA. So you have to study these targets of drugs. Okay, this is just a review. Okay, the target for different drugs like cell wall inhibitors. Example is penicillin, cephalosporin, vancomycin, bacitracin. The cell membrane destroyer is polymyxin. The target is DNA or RNA is gonna be quine, okay, quinone, chloroquine, rifampin. The target, if the target is ribosome, remember the ribosome has 2 unit or subunit. The larger subunit 50S and the smaller subunit 30S. So the one that bind to the 50S is chloramphenicol, erythromycin, clindamycin, oxazolidinones. The one that bind to the 30S or smaller subunit, aminoglycoside, tetracycline, streptomycin, amikacin. And the last target will be metabolic products or pathway. The one that block this metabolic pathway is sulfonamide and also trimethoprim. So make sure you study again these targets of drugs. Okay, so aminoglycoside is the one that bind to the 30S subunit. Number 44. Which of the following is not side effect of antimicrobial drugs? A. Diarrhea. B. Yellowish of tooth enamel. C. Hepatotoxicity. D. Nephrotoxicity. Or E. Development of drug-resistant bacteria. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer will be E. Development of drug-resistant bacteria. So remember when we talk about the side effects, the side effect is happening to the user, like us human. When we take the antibiotic, for example, there are some side effects like maybe diarrhea, yellowish of tooth enamel. Okay, if we use the tetracycline for a long time, hepatotoxicity, so the drugs may be toxic to our liver. Nephrotoxicity, so the drugs may be toxic into our kidney. The one that is not is development of drug-resistant bacteria, because this is not in our body. This is on the bacteria itself. So it is not considered as side effects. Number 45. Which of the following drugs that is similar to penicillin but with greater spectrum and greater resistance to beta-lactam? A. Macrolide. B. Streptomycin. C. Bacitracin. D. Tetracycline. Or E. Carbaphinams. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is E. Carbaphinams. So they also almost similar with penicillin, destruction of cell wall, but it has greater spectrum. It can be also used for gram-negative bacteria. Number 46. When the disease occurs occasionally at irregular intervals and random location, it is referred to as A. Epidemic, B. Endemic, C. Pandemic, D. Sporadic, or E. Chronic. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is sporadic. Okay, there are 4 types of distributions of disease in population: epidemic, endemic, pandemic, and sporadic. So epidemic, this is usually only on local area. Like for example, if one area has contaminations of the drinking water, okay, only that area will have what we call the epidemic, maybe diarrhea, for example. Other place that do not use their drinking water, the same drinking water, will not have that disease. So this is what we call the epidemic, which is a local distribution of disease. Endemic, if it is spread wider than epidemic, usually the area that have similar weather condition, for example, like malaria, so they are endemic in some tropical area, tropical country. But usually it will not spread to the cooler or for seasonal country like United States. And the pandemic, of course, we know this is the distribution of disease over the world. Okay, so all country will have this distribution of disease like COVID-19. Okay, and sporadic, this is the one that only happenings in one area and then happening on another area that maybe farther away, that do not really share the same weather condition or situation. So just sporadically this has the distribution of the disease with the irregular interval and random location. Number 47. Which one is not sign of infection? A. Fever, B. Leukopenia, C. Swollen lymph nodes, D. Antibodies in the serum, or E. Nausea. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer should be nausea. Remember, you have to know the difference between sign and symptom. So sign is any condition that you can measure, you can observe. Like fever, for example, you can measure it. Okay, fever is increased body temperature, so you can measure the body temperature, maybe 102, okay? For example. Leukopenia is mean that reduction of white blood cell. So you can actually take the blood sample and count the white blood cell on that sample. So this is sign. Swollen lymph nodes, of course, this is a sign because you see the swellings of the lymph nodes. Antibodies in the serum, this is also sign because you actually can measure the concentration of antibodies in the serum. The one that is not sign is nausea. This is symptom. You cannot measure nausea. You have to ask the patient whether they have nausea or itchy, okay, or headache. So this type of condition is what we call the symptom. Okay, so symptom cannot be measured. Number 48. The state of an infection when the specific sign and symptom are seen and the pathogens are in peak activity. A. Incubation stage, B. Prodromal stage, C. Period of infection, D. Convalescent stage, or E. All the choices are correct. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer will be period of infection. This is when the disease actually gives the specific sign and symptom, and they are in high concentration, in peak activity. Okay, number 49. Swelling, redness, and soreness are indication of A. Inflammation, B. Sequela, C. Toxemia, D. Syndrome, E. Latency. Choose your answer. Yes, these are the sign of inflammation. Okay? It's a sign of inflammation, which is swelling, redness, soreness, sometimes pain and itchy on the area, the site of infection. Number 50. All the following is A. Communicable disease except A. Measles, B. Influenza, C. Tuberculosis, D. Pertussis or whooping cough, or E. Botulism. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is botulism. Okay? Communicable disease means disease that can be transferred, contagious disease. Measles is contagious. Flu, okay, it is contagious. Tuberculosis, it is also contagious. Pertussis or whooping cough, it is also contagious disease. Botulism is not. Okay, so if someone have botulism, then the disease cannot be transferred to others. Okay, in order to get botulism, usually that person eating from the food that has a can container that has bacteria on it. Okay, it is not transferred from one patient to another patient. It is not contagious. Number 51. Which one is not referred as resident flora? A. Normal flora, B. Indigenous flora, C. Normal microflora, D. Pathogenic flora, E. Resident flora. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer will be pathogenic flora. Okay, normal flora, indigenous flora, normal microflora, they are the same thing, which is the flora or the bacteria that live on us for a long time of period, and they are actually some of them beneficial for us, because they compete against the pathogenic flora. So pathogenic flora is not resident flora. Okay. Number 52. What is the reason why non-pathogenic microbes do not cause disease? A. They lack attachment factors. B. They have not evolved strategies to evade host defense. C. They lack virulent factors to cause disease. D. They readily expelled by the host. E. All the above choices are correct. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer will be E. All the above choices or reasons are correct. So non-pathogenic microbes, they usually do not have the ability to stay in our body or produce the virulent factor that causing disease to us. Sometimes many of them are expelled quickly from our body, so they don't have the time to develop the ability to cause disease to the host cell. Number 53. Which of the following is resident flora in the intestine? A. Staphylococcus. B. Streptococcus. E. Bacteroides. E. E. coli. D. E. coli. Or E. C and D are correct. Choose your answer. Yes, the answer is C and D are correct. So Bacteroides and E. coli, these two bacteria, they live in our intestine. E. coli mean bacteria that live in colon. Colon is large intestine. Staphylococcus is on the skin. Streptococcus also mainly live on the skin. Number 54. Which of the following is not important factor that contribute to the infections? A. Genetic mutation in immunity-related genes. B. Physical and mental stress. C. Surgery and organ transplants. D. Chronic disease like diabetes mellitus. Or E. Family history of neurological disorders. Choose your answer. Yeah, the answer will be family history of neurological disorder. This one will not is not considered as important factor for infection. A, of course, it is really important factor of infection. If we do not have immunity or our immunity is really low, then infection can easily attack us. Physical and mental stress also increase the risk of infection. Surgery and organ transplant is also increase the risk of infection. Chronic disease like diabetes mellitus, they also increase the risk of having infection. So the one is not is the family history of neurological disorders. 55. Which of the following portal of entry is most used by pathogens? A. Skin. B. Urogenital. C. Gastrointestinal. D. Respiratory. Or E. None of the above. Choose your answer. Yeah, the answer will be D. Respiratory. Remember, respiratory organs are the most sensitive organ for infection. So this is the most portal of entry used by many pathogens like flu, COVID-19, measles, and other typhoid infection. They use mostly the respiratory tract or respiratory system. Number 56, true and false. Nosocomial disease are only transferred by medical personnel. True or false? Choose your answer. The answer is false. Okay, so nosocomial disease, which is the disease that is the people that get the disease from hospital, staying in the hospital, is not only caused by the medical personnel. It could be caused by other things like medical equipment, hospital facility, other patient, visitors, and other things can contribute the nosocomial disease, not only medical personnel. Number 57, true or false? Prevalence measures the total number of new cases of particular disease. True or false? Choose your answer. No, the answer is false. Okay? Prevalence measures the total number of existing, not new case, but this is existing case of a particular disease. Okay, so prevalence measures the existing case, the one that already present. Number 58. Incidence measure the total number of existing case of particular disease. True or false? This is also false. Okay, so incidence measure the new case. So this is, I'm sorry, the explanation over here is not correct. So this should be incident. Okay, so incident measure the new case, not the existing case. Okay, so prevalence is the one that measure the existing case. So incident for new case. Number 59, true or false? Reservoirs of pathogens include humans, animals, soil, and water. True or false? Yes, it is true. So any place, including human, animal, soil, can be, or water can be the reservoirs for some disease. Like for example, reservoir for COVID-19 will be wild animal like bat or some mammalians, wild animals can be reservoir for COVID-19. Wild mammals like dogs, bat, for example, they also can be reservoir for rabies. Okay, so this is the possibility of some environment, including human, animal, soil, and water. They can be used as reservoirs for some disease. Number 60, true and false. The human body typically begins to be colonized by its normal flora during and immediate after birth. True or false? Yes, it is true. Okay, so during their life, the fetus life or embryo life in the mother wombs, usually this is sterile, so they do not have bacteria or flora on that area. But after birth, or right after birth or during birth, this baby usually get flora, okay, normal flora, maybe from the air, from the doctor, or maybe from their own mother. Okay, so they start, the normal flora start the colonization during and immediate after birth. Okay, now we go to the next one, which is matching. Okay, so A column and B column on the right. So match between left column with the right column. 61, moist heat autoclave. Okay, choose your answer. What is moist heat autoclave? Yes, this is a type of sterilization. So H, the answer is H. So we cross that answer. Number 62, hand sanitizers. Choose your answer. Yes, it is antiseptic. Antisepsis, which is I. So cross that answer. Clorox bathroom cleaner. Okay, number 63. Yes, it is a disinfectant. So the answer is D. So we cross the answer. 64. The most resistant type of microbial form. Choose your answer. Yes, the endospore. Okay, E. So remember, endospore is the most difficult type of microbia to be controlled. So cross that answer. Number 65. The intermediate resistant microbes. Choose your answer. Yes, it should be Staphylococcus from the choice over there. So it's B. So cross the answer. 66. The least resistant microbial form. Choose your answer. Yes, it's going to be A, bacterial vegetative cell. We cross that answer. 67. Time from initial contact to the first appearance of symptom or sign. Find your answer. Yes, this is what we call the incubation, which is G. So incubation is the time from initial contact to the first appearance of symptom. Okay, the next, vague feeling of discomfort, non-specific sign and symptom. Find your answer. Yes, this is what we call the prodromal period or stage. Usually the symptom is very general, like a flu-like symptom, fever, and etc. So this is the stage of prodromal. F. Okay, we cross that answer. 69. More specific sign and symptom. And usually the bacteria or the pathogen in the very active condition. Choose your answer. Yes, this is the period of infection. So during the period of infection, usually the sign and symptom is very specific for specific disease. So we should be able to know what type of disease it is during the period of infection. So cross that one. 70. Recovery, the sign of symptom declines. Yes, this is only one choice is left, which is the convalescent period or recovery period. Okay, so G, so we cross that. Okay, I think we finished with this exercise, and good luck with your exam number 3. Again, make sure you study chapter 11, 12, and 13 before performing this exercise. If you still have many mistakes, please repeat this video, repeat this process. So if you repeat it several times and then you get the answer with your knowledge, then it is very, very likely that you will get the very good score on your exam. Okay, good luck, and I'll see you again later sometime. Bye-bye.